There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people.
To see if we could become something more.
So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
Hey, what's up, junkies? This is Josh from AFJ West Coast, and I have a really special surprise for you guys today. We are here in the offices of Marvel-themed entertainment, but we're going to talk about the Hasbro Marvel Legends prop replicas. We're also going to talk about what's coming for Marvel-themed entertainment, and then we're going to nerd out a little bit about Avengers Infinity War. And to do this, I have my very special guest and one of my best friends, Brian Crosby. Brian, tell me, you are the director of Marvel-themed entertainment?
Creative director.
Creative director.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
I mean,
No,
let's get it right. I gave you a business card.
That's right. Okay, yeah. So, creative director for Marvel-themed entertainment. I bow to you because it's like a nerd made good. But you've had a really cool journey to this spot.
Yeah.
Tell me briefly kind of how you got to where you are.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, it kind of goes way back. I mean, as a kid growing up here in Southern California, I mean, I was always passionate about Disneyland and comic books. Like, that was just kind of my upbringing. You know, I loved animation and like I said, loved comics. Discovered comics when I was about 10 years old, and it was in comic books that I discovered that there were actually people who did that for a living. You know, like when TV shows would come on, you'd watch an animated series or whatever, the credits would always roll at the end, and as an impatient kid, you just change the channel. Now Marvel Studios has trained us to sit through the credits, but back then, we didn't do that. But in a comic, you open it up and the credits are at the front. And so the first thing I'm reading were names like Todd McFarlane and, you know, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and all these names that we now revere. And I discovered there were people that did that for a living, so I always wanted to work in comics. And so that was kind of my big goal. Got a job working in independent comics in like 1999, did that for a few years. And then in 2005, I really had my big break and got hired by Disney. Walt Disney Imagineering specifically, and so I was at Imagineering for about 10 years, and so in 2015 I came over to Marvel, and it was kind of at, you know, when Disney, the Walt Disney Company purchased Marvel, was like Christmas morning for me, you know, as a comic book fan, you know, just that had the art style, the passion and the knowledge of those characters. As soon as that became a part of the fold, that's all I wanted to do.
I remember you called me.
Oh, it was Christmas morning.
That morning. Dude, what? Marvel, what about it? We bought them. What? Because I used to work for Disney, in case you don't know.
Right.
And we literally, we did the equivalent of like the teenage girl. Whee!
I know.
On the phone as two grown men.
100%. Yeah. And I'm not ashamed. I'm not either. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here if I hadn't done that squeal. And so I immediately just got to work and just started pitching Marvel ideas, big and small. And it was through that process that I got to know the folks at Marvel. Joe Quesada, our chief creative officer specifically, he and I became really good friends and still are to this day. Mostly bonding over the fact that we're both big baseball fans. And yeah, it was about 3 years ago they asked me to come over and lead this new division at Marvel. At the time it was called Live Events. And you know, I wanted to change that so it became themed entertainment. It was a little more comprehensive, and you know, and really suggested that we were going to dive into the theme park world, and so that's where I've been.
Let's talk about these real quick.
Yeah, these are cool.
Yeah, they are totally cool. You've seen these obviously before. You've played around with a few of these.
Mm-hmm.
We're fans. Taking off your "I work for Marvel" hat, putting on your "I'm just a nerd" hat. Like, to have Cap's shield, Iron Man's helmet, Thor's hammer, the Infinity Gauntlet, Star-Lord's helmet, and then Black Panther's helmet, which is coming out soon. Yep. We never had this stuff as a kid.
I know. I mean, I look at the costumes and the replicas and things like that are created today, and you know, as a kid, I could only dream of that kind of stuff. I mean, you look at the stuff that's out there now, and you're like, kids today got it made, but I mean, and big kids, big kids now they get to play with these cool things. But I mean, these are legit. Like they feel real, they look authentic, and they're put together by people who have that same level of passion that we do, who wanted that stuff when we were kids. And we're like, now new kids of the future, we give you everything that we wanted back then.
Mike, there's 2 words on the boxes for each of these that make me very happy: adult collector, because they know exactly what their target market is. You look at these props, you look at how well they're done, and you look at the story that each one of them tells. You know, even if you're a casual fan, you can walk into a store and you can see all of these and know exactly who that character is and what story that it's trying to tell. For you as a storyteller, and what you guys and your team are doing, not just in theme parks, but in arena shows and museum exhibits and things that are all around the world, how does seeing something like this, that is, you can own this, help you, inspire you to the stories that you are trying to tell within the theme park world, or in the world in which you work? Yeah,
and it's kind of a buzzword, but the word immersion comes to mind, and it's, I mean, people buy this kind of stuff for a variety of reasons. They may just want to display it. They may want to cosplay. They, in some way, they want to take a piece of what they saw in the pages of a comic book or on a screen and bring it home and have it be a part of their world. And I think what we do in themed entertainment is try to provide you the world in which you can go to and experience those things, which is a complete flip of the storytelling paradigm for Marvel. Because typically we are we have you sitting immobilized in a chair reading or watching a thing, and that's how we tell stories, and you watch the action unfold in front of you. In a theme park or in a exhibit or in a convention, you are getting up out of said chair and you are stepping into that world. And so we have to think about how we tell that story. And in the case of a theme park, you're a part of the narrative. You're a part of the story. In many cases, you have to, and I'm going to steal this from Joe Rohde, legendary Disney Imagineer, who said, you are the protagonist of the story. And if you think about any attraction you've ever been on, the story is about you. You know, if you're on Space Mountain, you are flying the rocket. It's not about somebody else flying a rocket. It's you. You're on the runaway train. You're on the whatever. And so in the case of things like the Iron Man experience or Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, our characters are responding to you, and you can look anywhere. And that is a very different way of telling a Marvel story.
Talk to me a little bit about Iron Man experience, because
it's my baby.
That's your baby.
Yeah.
And when you say your baby, you actually, that was your concept, right?
Yeah, initially, yeah. I mean, it's all these are put together with a squadron of people. But Iron Man experience was initially born on my commuter train up to Glendale, and we had been talking about bringing Star Tours to Hong Kong. And so some work had been done around that, and we found out that in Hong Kong, and I don't know how it is today, but at the time, Star Wars wasn't really resonating. That they didn't grow up with it. It wasn't part of their cultural DNA the way we have it here in the United States. And so like, Star Wars kind of feels like old sci-fi to us. I was like, oh, wow, like it crushes my heart, But then once I got past that, and they said, what we really love is Marvel. And we love those characters, and it feels very new and very fresh. And so we said, great, let's dive into Marvel. And I was on the train one day, and I thought there's nothing sacred about a simulator attraction being married to Star Wars as an intellectual property. We talked about a variety of different stories that we could tell, and I actually got to go to Hong Kong and pitch that story to the government, which was a whole experience in and of itself. But ultimately, Iron Man experience was born, and it's been the highest rated attraction in the park. And so it's just been awesome to see that whole thing kind of come together, start as that germ of an idea. And I actually started that when I was an Imagineer and got to see it through to completion once I had taken the job here at Marvel. So I got to see both sides of the fence on putting that together. So I know Marvel always likes to leave its audiences with a little bit of a tease. Right. What is your tease for themed entertainment? What's coming? What can you tell us or not tell us? Yeah, well, I think we always have a ton of stuff in the works. We're always looking at new ideas. We have a lot of things coming up. The Marvel Experience, kind of a traveling domed show, was just in Busan, Korea, where where we actually shot Black Panther, and is heading to Thailand, so that's going to be fun. And you know, we just announced recently, just a couple of weeks, that we have some new lands slash themed areas coming to some of the parks. So Hong Kong Disneyland and Disneyland Paris are both getting full Marvel lands, as well as California Adventures getting a superhero themed area, which is going to be just a lot of fun. You know, but when we started talking about these attractions in the parks, you know, the films, like I said before, Marvel Studios has trained us to sit through the credits and wait for that teaser for what's coming next. And we said, in the parks, what's our version of that? And we have always loved the idea of it being kind of a connected universe. If you go on Iron Man Experience, there is an Easter egg in there for Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. And then if you go to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, or just kind of go to the surrounding area in Anaheim, you may see some little nods to the Iron Man Experience in the Stark Expo. But we also started thinking about what's our end credits, you know, tag. You know, the Marvel Studios, like I said earlier, has trained us to look for that. And we thought in the parks, could we do something at the very, like outside of the attraction that nobody is really looking for? And so a few Eagle Eye fans picked up on this, and if you go out into the kind of the planter outside of the Collector's Fortress, you'll see a hatch. And that hatch has, in a not unlost-like way, has an Avengers logo on the top. And we've been asked many times what that hatch means. Well, we may just find out. And so we have a whole, you know, kind of themed area coming to Disney California Adventure that we're working on very closely with, you know, Walt Disney Imagineering and us in Marvel Themed Entertainment and Marvel Studios, kind of just a big collaboration between everybody to bring these characters to life in a whole new way. And it's, I wish I could tell you more. I really do, but we're all very excited about what's coming. That's awesome. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. Before we go, we need to talk about Infinity War.
Oh, the little
art house film that's coming out this week.
I hadn't heard.
Yeah, you might not have heard anything about it. Apparently there's some guy named Thanos in it.
Yeah.
I've never heard of him before. This is not going to go out until after the movie's out. We don't want to give anything away for people who are waiting.
Right. Yeah.
But we've both seen the film.
We have.
And spoiler-free.
Oh gosh, like what do you even say? I don't. I mean, well, first of all, Thanos demands our silence.
He does.
So I don't know.
He does. It does. He demands the silence.
So you know, not gonna spoil anything, but I mean, just an amazing film. I mean, the Russos are just fantastic storytellers, and all of those actors know those roles so well, and each one of them gets their moment in the sun. It's epic. You know, it's a relentless film that, you know, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I'm excited for people to see it and respond to it. I'm excited to take my family this weekend. You know, it has all been leading to this, and it is big.
My big concern going into the film was, again, we've seen this in other films with other studios and other properties, not necessarily Marvel, but this was their biggest. Yeah, something. But this is Marvel Studios' biggest film to date, not just in terms of cast, but in terms of what it means moving forward.
Yeah. And
you always get a concern as a fan, like, oh, are they going to try to cram too much in?
Yeah.
And when I walked out of the theater, I mean, aside from everything else that you kind of you bear witness to in that film, it's incredibly well balanced. Like it is an incredibly well balanced film. It doesn't feel like they slighted one, or
which is always your fear with a film of that size.
You're
like, who's not going to get time?
Right.
And everybody gets time. Working at Marvel, obviously I get have access to a lot of the information. You know, I read all the comics. I know a lot of the stories that are coming up. Infinity War was completely under wraps. So like I normally get to read the scripts and things. We didn't get a script read. You know, we didn't have any screenings. It was like I went into this film uniquely cold, you know, in a way
that is rare for you for what you do.
Right, that I haven't in a long time, since before I worked at Marvel. But the genuine surprises that await people, like, it's awesome, man. What is this world we're living in? Where there's like Star Wars movies every year and like multiple superhero movies. It's crazy.
It is.
It's like finally the world has realized that we're awesome. And
what's the old saying? The Geek Shallon here. We'll just change it to the Geek Shallon here.
Yeah, exactly. Like we told you this stuff was cool.
Yeah.
But you didn't listen.
All the people that told us in middle school, elementary, middle school, high school, and you know who you are. Welcome to our world.
Right. It's a good time, man.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
It is a good time, man. Thank you so much. Before I leave, you know, you're part of the AFJ family now, so we got to give you the official AFJ t-shirt.
That is awesome.
Yeah, we got baseball hats coming because I know you're a big baseball cap fan. We'll get you one of those too. But there
Thank
you go,
you.
man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is great.
Taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you guys are working on a ton of stuff. And just, one, it's always nice to catch up with you.
Likewise.
Two, it's nice to nerd out and talk about this stuff. And
we would do this even if the camera wasn't on.
oh, totally. Well, we were doing it when the camera wasn't on. I'm like, hold on, wait, we need to actually start shooting.
Right.
All right, junkies, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
All right.